remember when I first began reading tarot that I was actually terrified of it, to do a spread and then to try to interpret what all of these cards meant. Lucky for me, someone gave me a deck, and so I did not have to choose at first. And it was what a lot of people consider a beginner's deck, which is the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And I still love it today. And that's what I have laid out here. And look who came up in my final results. It's the High Priestess, who actually is the main character of my urban fantasy series, the Tarot Legacies, which I look at this as a good sign because I haven't actually put out a spread with this deck in a long time. So the first time I looked at these cards, I read probably 3 books before I felt like I was qualified to look into the cards and try to interpret them. And of course, each book I read said something kind of different, and I was confused. So this was back in the late 80s, and here we are now, 2021, and I'm here to tell you that it's awesome to read these books. Some of them are just outstanding, and I have learned a lot from them. But all of this boils down to when you're reading cards is to know the basics, and then you go with your intuition, because that is ultimately what makes you an excellent card reader. And so here we have the Rider-Waite-Smith deck that was conceived by A.C. Waite and drawn by Pamela Colman Smith. It's a real straightforward, as I said, a lot of people begin with this deck, and it has served me well for many years. I then progressed into the Thoth deck, which was designed by Aleister Crowley and painted by Lady Frida Harris. And I love this deck tremendously. I use this to check energy for people. Oh, Wheel of Fortune, there we go. Yes, it's true. And then I moved into, these days I'm also reading the Alchemical Tarot, which was designed and drawn by Robert Place. And that also, yes, breakthrough. That was a breakthrough for me. So what you need to do is first get a deck. If someone gives you a deck, that's fantastic. If it resonates with you, then go with it. If it doesn't, that's okay. You can buy your own deck. The idea of a deck needing to be given to you, I'm not quite sure where that all came from, that legend, that myth. You can purchase your own decks. And as a matter of fact, all of the readers that I know, including myself, choose and curate and collect decks that we feel drawn to. So choose a deck that resonates with you. You can go into a shop to look at some, if you're lucky enough to have a shop near you to go in and browse. Otherwise, go online. And the images need to speak to you, but I suggest also letting your intuition guide you as to just what catches your eye, but not only your 2 eyes here, but this eye here, right? Allow that to be functioning for you when you choose your deck. And then do read the book, the little white book as they call it, to familiarize yourself with the way that the designer put the decks together. And then lay out a spread. Here I have a classic Celtic spread. And again, this is a beginner spread that a lot of people use to learn with. And I still love it and use it because it has served me well. Lay out the cards, look at them, begin to see what they say to you. They're archetypes, especially the major arcana. You know, here we have the Emperor, and as I said, the High Priestess, my beautiful Vesta, right here. This is actually Jared from my books. And here we have the Hermit. These are major arcana archetypes. And what that means is these are energies that resonate within all of us. And common energies that we can recognize in each other and ourselves. So it's important to look at the stories, look at what's happening in the cards so that you understand what the message is and begin to see the story. It is a plot. There is a theme. These are the characters. This is like a book. And this is actually how I came up with my series after many years of letting it roll around and my thoughts and then become fully formed one day out of the blue. Allow yourself to see the story that is unfolding here, whether you're reading for yourself or a client, and you will begin to understand exactly what is going on, and according to where this card is in the spread, you will be able to relate that specifically to yourself or to your client. So this is the beginning steps of learning how to read tarot. Trust in yourself is the number one piece of advice that I can give you. The more you trust in yourself, the more that you will become familiar with the cards, comfortable with the cards, and that they will in return become comfortable with you. This works really well. And then you can move from what this is considered a beginner deck into a more sophisticated deck, like the Thoth deck, like the Alchemical Tarot deck, and use what is there for you to begin understanding and telling the story of you and telling the story to your clients so that you can help them. Ultimately, the reason that we read tarot cards is to help ourselves and our clients live at their highest potential, right? And so that's what we're doing here, is to understand their energies and help them take it to a new level, or take it to a new level for yourself as well. So this is the beginning of our investigation into the tarot. And I might also mention that as we deal with the subconscious energies, which is what we're dealing with here in the tarot, this connects deeply to dream interpretation, which I'm also a dream interpreter. And I have been interpreting dreams about as long as I've been reading cards, which is almost 30 years. And at some point I realized I was working with exactly the same energy. And this has allowed me to integrate the tarot as well as our dream symbols to understand in a much deeper way where our energies lie. And so that's what we're going to be investigating more of. So stay tuned.